All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you, just like me. All right, Big Wolf Band, been featuring these guys a lot. This is their latest. It's a live album. It's called Live in Howlin'. Those guys are from the UK. It's blues. It's blues rock, people. You got to give it a chance. This is their last album. It's called Be Free, studio album. And then the band was nice enough to send me this one here. It's called Rebel's Story. So I have 3 albums by the Big Wolf Band. Please check them out. They're good. Even if you don't like the blues, I would give it a listen. It's blues-oriented rock, the way rock used to kind of be back in the day. Speaking of back in the day, Kiss is in the news because they're an old band. And when they do interviews, controversy erupts, and Ace Frehley is really upset with Paul Stanley. Now, I've noticed the Kiss feud goes on and off. Sometimes it's between Ace and Gene. Sometimes it's between Ace and Paul. Sometimes it's even between Paul and Gene, right? As Kiss continues to do their never-ending end of the road tour. It just keeps going. In fact, Gene has said that, hey, after it's over, I might want to do another Vegas residency. You never say never. It's kind of like David Lee Roth, who apparently made an appearance at a corporate event a few days ago. Holy crap, Batman, it's it's David Lee Roth. There he is, the guy who said that his doctors had advised him not to go out there. Anyway, getting back to the Ace Frehley controversy here, it's pretty interesting because Howard Stern, who, I don't know, some people think Howard is this great interviewer. Maybe he is. I don't listen to Howard Stern. I don't watch Howard Stern. Haven't my entire rock and roll existence. He was a big thing a number of years ago, and it wasn't the music that was getting people interested in hearing what Howard Stern had to say. Anyway, Paul Stanley goes on Howard Stern. Howard Stern says, how come Peter and Ace didn't play the Hall of Fame? This question, by the way, since 2014, has been asked over and over again. And it's pretty much the same answer, but this time, Paul Stanley took it maybe a little too far, said, hey, if we had, Ace and Peter up there, we couldn't call the band Kiss. We would have to call the band Piss. Sorry for that word, but that's what he said. And Ace Frehley has gone kind of nuts, and maybe deservedly so. But again, these are older guys who are really just trying to keep themselves in the news. And Ace Frehley out there still playing concerts, and people are showing up to see Ace Frehley. He seems probably like the most likable character in the Kiss bunch. But, Ace does make a good point talking to Eddie Trunk here. So first of all, he wants Paul Stanley to apologize for the piss comment, and he threatens to tell some dirt that nobody knows about Paul. You know what's interesting? A lot of these bands, like Journey, Styx, Kiss, and you can find the band that you like the most, who's had all this controversy throughout their existence. And you could do Netflix miniseries for people my age who would sit down with an adult beverage and a big bowl of popcorn, and we could get to the truth together. We could watch, and it would be great publicity for these bands, even if it made them look horrible, which in the case of Journey or Kiss, it's a high likelihood that it would be just a scandal, but it would increase album sales, ticket sales, interest in the band, merchandising. Everybody would want a t-shirt or, a TV tray, like the old days with Kiss. The lunchbox. Get yourself a Kiss lunchbox. Kiss is in the Hall of Fame. There's another band that starts with the letter K, Kansas, cerebral, orchestral, odd time signatures from, especially early in their career, but even their later stuff now is kind of reverting back to their classic era. And they're not in the Hall of Fame because they didn't impact youth culture. They're too brainy. Plus, there's this Christian thing that was going on for a while. So that probably disqualifies Kansas. Christians aren't looked upon very well these days. So this week, I think, in the news is proof of that, which, again, very sad what's happening to the country. But I digress. Let's get back to this feud, because the feud is far more interesting than these current events. People need to just put their heads in the sand and worry about what Gene said about Paul or what Paul said about Ace. So Ace is basically threatening to, kind of tell some dirt. And here's what he said to Eddie Trunk. This is Ace Frehley. You know what it is? It's Paul's frustration and insecurity that he has to use backing tapes. And we're only 6 months apart, meaning he and Paul, age-wise, are only 6 months apart. And he says, I can still get up there and belt it out and hit the keys, and he can't. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if it's true. But if Ace is singing live, then good for him. Good for him. I mean, like I say, look, David Lee Roth just made an appearance. I don't know if he was singing it live, but one thing, you can't sing it that poorly and have it be backing tapes. If you're going to have backing tapes, the tapes should make it sound better, not worse. And some bands who are using backing tapes still don't sound very good. All right. So there needs to be more AI, more technology to bring it up to a reasonable level where we can all tolerate it. Anyway, Ace goes on. He says, I'm very sad about the fact that he's using backing tracks. It's cheapening the brand, which affects my bottom line because I still get paid from Kiss on merchandising and whatever else they do, and I'm pissed off about it. Wow. So everybody's using the P word here. Ace, he's mad. And Paul, he's just telling it like it is as far as what happened in 2014. You really should have had those guys up there. That's just ridiculous. I'm thinking the Hall of Fame was inducting the original version of Kiss, and that's why they got into the Hall of Fame, because of their earlier work, which is really the only stuff that has held up all that well over time. They had some moments in the 80s and even into the early 90s where, they're working with Desmond Child and they're trying to make themselves into Bon Jovi a little bit, and they had some success with that. But for the most part, people, this is a band who really hit their stride in the late 1970s and made a lot of money, and they were really good at merchandising. And I think Ace Frehley might have a little point here. I mean, if people aren't looking on the Kiss brand anymore with pride and saying to themselves, yeah, I want some Kiss stuff, because they're still out there. And a lot of people don't even care. They don't care. They'll buy the stuff anyway, even if the band is, lip syncing and using all kinds of technology to get through their shows. People are going to see the show. And with Ace, maybe they're not that concerned about, the show aspect. They just want to see a rock and roll Hall of Fame legend, because he is, whether you like him or not. And so good for Ace. And it's a good little feud. I don't know if people really understand, though, that this is all about branding and keeping yourself in the news. And you've got two very loud public figures, Howard Stern and Eddie Trunk, who's not quite as loud, but is very effective. And now it's out there, so that these two guys are probably going to make more money because of this. People will go see Ace out of loyalty. People will continue to go see Kiss because those people are just in love with the concept of the show, and they really don't care about, the lip syncing and the accusations made by Ace. The only thing that's a little different here is Ace claims that he's got dirt on Paul. So we'll see if that dirt comes out. We'll see if Paul apologizes to Ace. My guess is that Paul won't apologize to Ace, and the feud will go on, and more people will be interested in the feud because, look, the dinosaur bands, there's not much else to really be that concerned about. Any of the new stuff they've recorded isn't on the radio. They don't put out new music because nobody cares. And what people mostly care about is this legacy, which is fading. It's all fading quickly, and hence, it would have been nice to have another generation of this stuff for those of us who aren't like 80 years old and can't hear anything. I'm still game for some new music. Hence, that's why we've got the Big Wolf Band right here, ladies and gentlemen. Sounds nothing like Kiss, okay? Live and howling. It's real music for real people in real time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I want to thank all the new subscribers. I should be thanking Eric Clapton and the new subscribers for coming on board. And also the new patrons. We've got a few of those. And YouTube memberships are also available to support this channel. I talk music, politics, maybe even some religion in there. I talk about all the things you're not supposed to talk about, and it's kind of wherever I want to go with it. So if you're wondering about the format and why I don't stay in my lane, I've got a bunch of lanes that I like driving in. I like driving really slow in the left lane and ticking people off, and then they've got to pass me on the right. This is like, the life here in Florida. You drive slow in the left lane, and people, they don't understand that you don't drive slow in the left lane. You move over. See, I'm from Massachusetts originally, and I think you get pulled over eventually for that kind of stuff up there. Not so much down here, though. Anyway, people, see, I talk about anything I want to. Stay in your lane, dude. Just stay in your lane. All right, left lane, 30 miles an hour. That's what I'm doing.